Okay, so what we want to do, because we've got a natural cowlick here, is we come back with our part line and push the majority of the hair to one side, and that's going to be our dominant roll. And then we're just going to section where we're going to apply our victory rolls. So from the crown down to sort of just in the top of the ear, and we'll just clip that back for the time being. And then same again on the other side. You also need to determine at this point whether you want to wear kiss curls or not, which are the wax curls on the face.
Oh my God.
Sexy.
So now, do you want curls on your hair? Or?
There was a picture of the redhead there.
She wants sub curls through the back. She's asking if you want like spit curls.
Yeah, spit curls on the
ones?
side of the face.
No, thanks.
No? Okay. So basically, if you did want a spit curl, this is much more of a 20s with the finger waves kind of look, but it does look great with victory rolls as well. So if you did want them, you take out your little sideburn areas and put the wax on them, yeah? But because we're not, we're just going to keep them back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl the back of the hair last, because once your hair is pinned up, it's up, it's not going to move. Whereas, especially say it was a really hot, humid day, if we curled first, you might drop. So by the time you've done your rolls, the rest of the hair might be straight. So we leave that till last. Okay, so these are the kind of pins that I would use. So it's a really heavy pin, okay? This will make sure that your hair is staying up with a lot less difficulty than using some really shonky pins. So we need to decide whether we want the hair to go back on itself or directly up or to the front, and that's the way we're going to hold the hair out to back comb it. So the picture that we've chosen for this is actually sort of coming to the front and then back on itself. So there's a lot of height coming back up to the front. So what we want to do, section the hair, and even though we're doing it in one roll, we still back comb it in sections. We want to hold the hair out and then grab the fine teeth of the comb and back comb. So back combing is different to teasing. Teasing is pushing the hair from the end. Back combing is taking it in sections. And what we want to do is make the hair really dense, like troll doll-ish, yeah? And that's going to make it really easy to manipulate.
I'm doing this for length rather than cropped, only because you see the stuff on the floor that way, where you won't, if I come in close, you wouldn't really see anything much of this there.
Now, don't worry too much if it's knotty, because we're going to actually brush it out, but you don't want it to be like, you know, like that kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
You want it to be nice and thick. We just move it over and take the next section.
Just point the toe, just put it on the ground. Have it on the ground, just point, that's it. Roll that back shoulder more towards me.
Victory rolls, just like anything else, it just takes practice. So I'll probably make it look pretty easy. But this method makes your life a lot easier because the hair's thick, it's easy to manipulate, but it does take a while to get your rolls looking really smooth and nicely pinned. So just keep at them and practice, and you get better with every roll.
Try it over the other shoulder now, just over the other, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so once we've done this, we don't want to just go, great, that's really easy and beautiful. So we want to make sure we smooth the outside the whole way around, but the inside has still got that bird's nest kind of effect to it, so it's nice and thick. So I switch over to the thicker teeth and just very gently pull the knots out. Okay, and at this point what we want to do is we want to grab the hairspray and just give it a really light mist over the hair, and that's going to help you sort of bring it all together. So I'll get you to close your eyes for a minute. Okay, and then just run your hands over it, just sort of pulling it back together. So this one is the small side. So from the picture, we've got quite a defined roll coming in here, and this one comes back on itself. So we want to actually roll it in so you get a cylinder in here. So as far as you'd pull the hair out, will it be, your assessment would come from whether you've got little flyaways in there that you need to sort of bring your fingers down below them, or the length of your hair as well. But generally about a third of the way out. And then you're going to wrap it around 2 fingers. So you've got a tail on the top. And then just very slowly pull your fingers out and push it through. So it's on the other side of the roll. And then just very slowly wind the hair towards the crown. Your first pin goes from taking some of the scalp hair and some of the base of the roll and slide it through and push it back. Now at this point I grab the back of the roll and just pull it down a little bit. I don't like having the barrel rolls where you can see straight through. I just find this creates a much nicer finish at the back.
It looks thick.
It looks thick, yeah. And then you want to grab from the inside as well.
And
pin that down.
I mean, I can do standing ones. Obviously, I would tend.
Now I use my fingers just to open up the rolls a little bit to make sure they're nice and smooth. Now the trick for the side to pinning them down is to actually grab minimal amounts of hair. So we're actually putting them in on an angle rather than sliding back like we were. They're coming in, just grabbing a little bit and pushing down. And putting just a couple of them in there, because if you try to push it across, you're going to flatten the roll and you're going to see the pin. So you want to try to strategically place the pins so the less of them you see, the better.
Yeah, you might get swimming.
Okay.
Should have got natural something.
Just spray and just run your fingers over it. Excellent. Get you to pivot this way for me. We'll do the other side. So the prep is going to be exactly the same. So we're just going to back comb in sections. Obviously a few more sections because we've got a stronger side here.
Might get a little bit of the other one on the other side, but I think that's alright. Just get a little bit of them in there.
And I'm going to hold it out this way a bit more. As I said, you can change your mind after you've styled, but it's easier to comb in the way that you're going to roll rather than having to over manipulate your hair.
Because you can sort of do some cuddle one, if you want to cuddle up a little bit more, or even put them in a giant cup as well.
Beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah.
So if you've got a tail comb, like a peak comb, it's really good to separate. Like once you get kind of used to it, you can use your pinky finger to sort of get a clean line, but when you're starting out, peak combs are the way to go. And it has to be denser near the root line, because obviously you almost brush it out to straight at the ends, and they're being rolled down anyway. That's where you want your height, is at the root. Feeling so sexy right now. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really important that when you're combing it, you're not getting like actual separation through your roll. So that's why you really need to work it back into itself. So those sections that you've just back combed don't separate too much.
Yeah.
This back combing method is also really great for fine hair to really thicken it up as well.
You've got the little cup and the cake if you want to do that. You've got the trike, you've got the lawnmower, you've got the still got quite a few things. Well, the ones, because some girls are just quite low, sort of like semi, or you can actually, yeah, you've got the push one out.
Okay, so close for me.
Lifting like it's very hot work, like my mind, yeah, this is mowing the lawns. Just turn up a bit. Don't shift just up that ear because of the light. You just don't want to block that light out too much.
So I'm going to be behind you for this, so I might actually get you to hold these pins for me.
Yeah, no,
Here you go.
just got here, just watch the hand over the face a little bit.
So because this one's rolling back, I'm going to work from the back.
That's nice. That's good.
So it's much the same as what we're doing. Rolling it over. This one I'm going to pull through all the way because it's going to tuck under itself anyway.
Yeah, you did have a few there.
So you can be a bit rougher with this kind of thing because you're going to rework it once it's pinned into position. So I'm just going to use some pins just to hold its shape. So same kind of thing, pinning from both ends, and the reason that we do that is so that it doesn't start falling out of one side. So that's enough to give it some hold. So I'm just going to leave that for the time being so that I can work the shape a bit more.
Foot up on top, it got somehow. Yeah.
So I'm going to use my comb to really smooth out that section.
Maybe you wrap it around your body a little bit more. Oh no.
So this style is like very Betty Grable, like that kind of roll back on itself, like, and they'd have like the page roll underneath.
Yeah.
Mine's so neat.
That hasn't, you haven't grown
my
power, it's missing or anything.
Because I keep cutting at it. I've been cut about 10-15 inches off the length of it at this point. And I need to do a pompadour. Really.
But almost, what say, do you want me to?
So what I'm doing here is just really separating that roll, so there's a lot of definition because I'm going to pull this down a little bit so you can see the roll there. And then I'm just going to go through and pin the back so it's nice and smooth.
Perfect. It's good. I think it's good having that extra, having the plant and everything as well. Maybe just hold the plant down a bit lower so the water will become, yeah, that's it. It's good. I'll take the plant off. Don't come too close to the front edge of the set.
Okay, I'm just going to grab some fringe pins, and these are the really fine ones that you use that don't actually have holding power. They just are used to keep down any little flyaways. I'm just going to spin you around so on the film you can see the back of the hair. So in here, if you want to come in here, you can probably see you've got like little bits that aren't quite as long as the curve of the head, so we want to just secure them down. So we just use one of these pins.
Okay.
They're used a lot in upstyling of bridals. They have no holding power, they're just used to keep the flyaways down, that's right.
You never allow for this. The hand up ones look good too. Maybe like you grab the hair, but like it's like you're wrestling with it somehow. It's like it's a spit. You almost want
Now
to
this
like that
section in
small
here,
bang,
I'm actually going to leave to pin till after I've curled it, because if you sort of pin all this in and then pull your hair down, this section of hair is not going to sit where you want it to. So you kind of got to assess those kind of things as well.
Yeah. Although this is affecting damsel in distress.
Because there's nothing worse than pinning your hair into position
It's good.
and then something's not sitting right, because then you have to take the pin out and you can never find the pin that you actually need to take out. Now the only thing with these particular pins, they're so fine. I actually prefer the ones, the mid-range ones. They're a little bit thicker.
Got a couple of ones.
That's fine. I've got this. Thanks. It's the last one. But the reason I don't like them is if you hit one of the heavy pins, they just bend.
So,
And so they're
is there
useless.
something else you like position-wise?
Right.
like posing-wise?
Awesome. Okay. So that's like the basic victory roll set that we're looking at. And as I said, we'll pin it afterwards. So all we need to do now is curl the back of the hair. Alright, so just to finish, just curl the hair in the same direction all the way through so you get lovely defined curls. And then with your pick comb, just drag through the top just to smooth out to the nape of the neck. And from here we've just pinned down so it's sitting nice and tight to the back of the head. And we give it light spray on the top. To create the victory rolls.